Okay, we are live and recording.
Okay. Good afternoon, trustee members and Sue. This is Lewis Cross, and I'm calling the meeting of the Public School Retirement System of the City of St. Louis for August the 15th, 2022. It is 4:35 p.m. and I'm going to ask for the roll call, Sue. We do have a quorum.
Angela Banks.
Here.
Christina Bennett. Lewis Cross.
Present.
Sheila Goodwin. Donna Jones. Yvette Levy.
Here.
Martell Mann. Bobby Richardson.
Present.
Albert Sanders.
Here.
Justin Stein.
Here.
Doris Walker.
Here.
Okay. So we do have 7, so we do have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Executive Director. Now we're going to call for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting, tab 1, Board of Trustees regular meeting. That was June the 23rd, 2022. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting, a Board of Trustee regular meeting on June the 23rd, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second, Levy.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. So the vote is approved for the last meeting, June the 23rd minutes have been approved. Reading of communications of the trustees.
I do not have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Presentation by interested parties.
I do not have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Consent agenda. Approval of retirements and benefits for for July and August of 2022. Can I get a motion to approve those?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the retirements and benefits for July and August 2022.
Richardson, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. So those benefits for July and August have been approved for 2022. Now, I need to have a motion for the approval of the refunds and bills for June and July of 2022. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the refund and bills for July 2022.
Richardson,
June and July.
June and July.
Yeah.
I'll take that motion back. I make a motion to approve now you threw me all off. To approve the bills for June and July of 2022.
Is there a second?
Richardson, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. So that's been approved. Do we have any unfinished business, Madam Executive Director?
Oh, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, a report of the chairperson. I was able to attend 2 meetings, one in Chicago with the NAPSI, and also the meeting in the Ozarks with MAPERS. I think that's right. And I was very pleased with the presentations. What I'm going to ask is that in the October meeting, all parties who have traveled to the meetings, we all get together and provide a report of what we learned and what we're to bring back to the group. So we ask for that to happen in the October meeting session. I was particularly impressed with fraud inspections and things of that nature. there's a young lady, actually there are two people that I want to have present to the board at some point in time, if possible, on fraud. The one young lady talked about the fact that fraud is evident all the time, especially in the investment community, and that classic example of it is Bernie Madoff, who for 10 years fooled the world and took a lot of people's money. And then she went on to talk about corporations who know that they're wrong, and then they continue to be wrong. Case in point, Ford Motor Company, they had the Pinto. All they had to do was move the gas tank 6 inches inward, and instead Ford took the position that they would fight every case of anybody who was burned up in a fire because of an exploding gas tank, that they would fight them all the way to the Supreme Court. And that's exactly what they did. And so those are classic examples of corporations being deceitful and doing things that they know are wrong, but just basically saying that this is the stance that we're going to take. And that also happens in the investment industry. And these two people talked about it, and they have some solutions that we might want to take a look at. And one of those solutions is free. And they do it free, and only they monitor your investments, and only when they find something will they, at a certain level of income or a certain amount of money, will they take that particular case. And in the Margaritaville Ozarks Conference, again, very impressed with the presentation. You all will see my complete report on those two conferences in October. But again, public pensions was the basic theme of everything that went on during that conference. And again, they had excellent presenters. And again, the issue of fraud popped up as one of the main issues that we need to take a look at. A lot of our public funds have been hit, and fortunately we haven't, but we still want to take a good look and make sure that we have all the precautions necessary to make sure that we have an excellent legal support system. Matt, I just have to commend you 1,000 times over and over again for your firm service to us. It's impeccable. So that being said, I just want to thank the members of the board who went on the 5-hour trip to Chicago by train, and we dodged the bullet because a train in Missouri had a very serious accident, but luckily we weren't on that train. And it was a good thing that we did take a train because all the planes had been canceled most throughout the nation. So, but that is the end of my report. And Madam Executive Director, we'll move on to our next item is the report of the Executive Director, tab 4.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just have a few items in my normal report. I have the normal information in there. We are still working on the one overpayment that we've discovered this year. Did not receive anything back from the bank. So just working with the family now to try to get that overpayment returned. And then along the lines of conferences that the Mr. Chairman was talking about, just wanted to remind everybody the NCTR conference is coming up. That's the 100th annual conference. And that's going to be from October 8th to 11th, 2022, in person in Tucson, Arizona. So I've heard from a few trustees that are interested in attending. If anybody is interested, if you could let me know this week, I'll submit registration, get that paid for, and then, we can kind of go from there. But just wanted to remind everybody that program is coming up. The registration is now open. So again, that is one NCTR, that annual conference. I think it's the 100th one. It's the first one in a few years that is actually in person, the annual conference. So, and then just as a reminder, if anybody has traveled, as Mr. Cross mentioned, again, please feel free to turn in your receipts, request for reimbursement at any time. You can send them in together. You can send them in one at a time, however you want to do that. But just a reminder, we've gotten some in, but please feel free to submit those. And then if you do travel, please make sure that you keep your receipts. Right, Terry?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. Makes Terry happy if we get those receipts. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to mention is we do have our test device for those members that were interested in getting a device to assist in board meetings and as we start looking at RFPs and things like that, that you can use for PSRS STL business. We did get that test device in just recently. Our technology folks have gotten that set up, and so we're doing some internal testing, and depending on how that goes, we hope to be able to roll out those devices to those people who were interested, getting those out to people here relatively soon. So just wanted to let you know that was still moving forward. I know it's taken probably a little longer, but again, as I mentioned at the last meeting, our technology vendor had done a lot of research to make sure we got the correct device, and then wanted us to do some additional testing before we kind of rolled that out to everybody. So stay tuned, but hopefully we're going to be close on that one. All right, and then I wanted to, at this point in time, introduce a couple of folks that are on the call today to talk about insurance and retiree insurance. So we have, first off, Dawn Waters. She is the heart and soul of our insurance, takes care of all the insurance, talking to all the members, counseling them, assisting them, explaining Medicare, which is not an easy thing to do, but so she's involved in that very much so. And then also has been involved in our RFP work that we have done with Gallagher. And I also wanted to introduce Mark on Vote, who is also on the call. If you guys remember Mark from last year, he was here to present, and he is back again to talk to us about the Medicare Advantage RFP and a couple of other RFPs that we did. So I'm going to bring your presentation up, Mark.
Okay, great.
The floor is yours.
Great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
I'm traveling and my computer imploded, so I apologize. I'm on my iPhone, but I still am able to see everybody, and thank you for having me. So, I wanted to. We have some very, very positive results from the RFPs that we did this year, primarily for the Medicare Advantage plan, which you've had for the retirees. And then so it's a RFP for services that will be offered, if approved, on a voluntary basis for prepaid legal and for ID protection. Next slide, please. Through the current enrollments for the this shows the current enrollments for the SLPS sponsored United Healthcare commercial plan. You'll see that there has been some reduction in the participants, and then the SLPS sponsored United Healthcare commercial plans, and it shows the number of enrollees there are eligible to enroll in the Medicare Advantage plan. Next slide. This slide shows you current enrollment for the Medicare Advantage PPO plan, currently with United Healthcare. In 2021, it was 500, and then for the high option, 381 for the low option, and $557 for the gold option. And those have increased for the most part, especially the gold option. The Delta Dental, if you recall last year, we took the dental plan out to market and received a very favorable contract with Delta Dental in Missouri. And you'll see that there has been some decrease in the high option and a little increase in the low option. Overall, though, the insured population has been steady. IMED Vision Plan last year was a RFP that we did and replaced the prior vision plan. And you'll see a significant increase in the IMED Vision Plan. I think Dawn has been getting some very positive feedback both on the dental and the IMED Vision Plan. Next slide, please. The 2023 renewal summary, the SLPS will be renewing the base and the buy-up plans with United Healthcare. Those plan designs will be no changes, and there will be a increase in the medical rate of 4.9%. And that is subject to the Board of Education approval. Delta Dental, there is no plan design or rate changes for 2023, nor for IMED. Next slide, please. Here's the, we'll just kind of go through the executive summary for the Medicare Advantage plans. The RFP was sent out, and the carriers that we went to were Aetna, Cigna, Anthem, Humana, as well as the incumbent UHC. Very favorable responses. Cigna came in very strong with, ended up with 0 premiums and also a rebate in the form of the Medicare premium. All the other carriers, except for Anthem, which we did not take to the second level, ended up being 0 premiums for any of the 3 plans for 3 years. We did have finalist meetings. Sue and Dawn attended those, hours and hours of finalist meetings. I commend them on their attention to detail. And really primarily for staying awake. But they were both very engaged. And the finalist meetings, we discussed the Aetna, Cigna, Humana, and UHC proposals. And we received final offers at that finalist presentation. Next slide, please. The other RFPs that went out, these are purely voluntary products. I think that Sue and Dawn might fit your retiree population. I wholeheartedly agree. And the service in these services are for prepaid legal and for ID theft. We went to a variety of carriers, including Legal Ease, Legal Shield, MetLife, and Allstate ID theft. We held finalist meetings with Legal Ease, MetLife, Legal Shield, and we will show the results and recommendation for that in a second. Next slide, please. The Medicare Advantage marketing results. The retiree system offers 3 different Medicare Advantage plans. A high option, it's called a low option, and gold. Ultimately, getting to the bottom line is that all the carriers, including United Healthcare, have agreed to 0 premiums for any of the plans that your retirees will want. That will be the high option, low option, or gold for 3 years. The plans are all the plans were matching, and there were also some additional freebies that were or additional services that were thrown in. Primarily this year with UHC, there is a medallion that you can use if you fall. This will be provided to the retirees if they request it for no additional cost. So we can go through the Medicare Advantage plans. The high option benefits are here. Next slide, please. Here's the low option, and these are the best and final offers. And I know this was in the packet you received. Next slide, please. And here is the gold option. Next slide, please. Now we'll go through the Medicare Advantage recommendation. United, we are recommending that the retiree board renew with United Healthcare. This is this provides an annual savings to the board of over $1 million. This is a very successful RFP. I'm thrilled to be able to present it. Cannot tell you enough how hard Sue and Dawn have worked and helped us to achieve this, and it's really it's quite a victory. The monthly savings for the retirees that are enrolled in the low plan will be $25, and in the high plan, $139.54 monthly. During open enrollment, there will be an effort to migrate more Medicare retirees from the SLPS space to the Medicare Advantage plans, as this pricing, is phenomenal. The other reason we're recommending United Healthcare is it's a strong network. There is the enhancement to the Medicare Advantage plan that is vision, that you can get a vision exam every 12 months versus every 24 months under the prior. And most importantly, your retirees like United Healthcare, and there will be no disruption with staying with United Healthcare. Is there any questions at this time regarding the recommendation for the Medicare Advantage plan? If not, the next slide. Prepaid legal. Here are the carriers that we went to for the prepaid legal, Legal Shield, MetLife, and Legal Ease. And here are the benefits that we evaluated. Next slide, please. We received the best and final offer, and here is the pricing that was offered. And all three carriers did a finalist meeting with us, and our recommendation, I believe, is on the next slide, and it would to go. We recommend using MetLife for the prepaid legal.
And Mark, do you mind just giving kind of a quick overview again of what prepaid legal, what that benefit would be? I mean, I know we've got this here, but just kind of the quick synopsis.
Sure. Prepaid legal is somewhat of a newer product in the last 20, 25 years. This is a voluntary product where the participant would pay a premium and receive a lot of legal services for free, and if they and including for discounts for other legal services. So just to kind of go through, with the prepaid legal, you can have services for adoptions, probably the most important is wills and trusts, living trust, power of attorney. All of these services, your retirees, if they enroll in the plan and pay the premium, can turn, and MetLife will set them up. They can pick from an array of network MetLife lawyers and receive those services with no out of pocket. Any questions on that? Sue, was that
No, thank you, Mark.
I'm sorry? Any questions? Next slide. I'm
Is
sorry,
he
can
still
you hear
there,
me?
Sue? Yeah, I can hear you, Mark.
So I think we're ready for the identity theft.
Okay.
Right.
So the identity theft, I'm sorry. We went to Allstate. MetLife has a identity theft partner, ID Shield and LifeLock. Ultimately, we selected Allstate. Our voluntary expert here at Gallagher highly recommended Allstate. We did interview all of the ID theft companies, and I think the biggest thing with Allstate is they have an extremely liberal definition of family eligibility. And basically, anyone in your household and some people not in your household was probably the main reason that we're recommending Allstate. All of the pricing is very similar. Allstate's been in the ID theft business for well over 10 years. And after the finalist meeting, that ends up being our recommendation. Any questions regarding the spreadsheet? So again, MetLife prepaid legal, competitive rates, really strong network in and out of network, strong number of lawyers. Allstate, the biggest thing was the excellent customer service, full service ID protection, really comprehensive plan, and the generous family definition. Is the reason for the recommendation to Allstate. Questions regarding that? Moving into the open enrollment meetings, these will be the meetings where the vendors will come. We have asked and will arrange for both Allstate and MetLife to be present, of course, with the dental and the IMED and of course, United Healthcare for the Medicare Advantage plans. So all of these will be able to provide open enrollment overviews of the benefits being offered to the retirees. Next slide. Here are just a bunch of Gallagher disclaimers. I don't even read these, but I will promise you, you're in very good hands with Gallagher and your consulting, but extremely good hands with Sue and Dawn overseeing our consulting process. I'd like to open it up to any questions, comments.
An excellent report, Mark. I'm very much impressed with the Medicare Advantage savings for our members.
And Mark, I just want to ask, on the prepaid legal and identity theft, that cover our retirees. Do it also cover the family members also, or is that an additional expense?
They can sign up for individual coverage for the retiree, or they can sign up for family coverage. And each of them, MetLife has their criteria. It's pretty liberal. Allstate is extremely liberal with their, so if you sign up for the family Allstate, there's up to 30 people who can be on it. And you don't really have to do much more than have driven by them. It's a very liberal definition for family. So this is open. Again, this is a voluntary product. Some retirees may not want it, may not need it. Some may want it for themselves, and some may want to purchase it for their entire family.
Okay, thank you.
Susan, this is Doris. Can we have a copy of this? Because the print is so tiny, I can't read anything.
Okay, yeah, it should be in your packet,
All right.
but I can send another to you. You didn't get your packet.
Did it come by mail?
Yes,
Then I didn't receive it.
okay.
Thank you.
We'll make sure you get one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if not, I would
Okay.
like to thank you for your time. It's a pleasure, to work with the St. Louis Retiree Board. And to work with Sue and Dawn, very conscientious, and it's a pleasure. I'm just very, very happy with the results this year.
So, Mr. Chairman, I did put up a few motions that we would need to work on to, to address these recommendations.
Okay. So let's see, we can start those. I guess we can start those now. I'm gonna have to get somebody to read them to me because I don't have a visual system right now. I'm like Mark, my stuff crashed. So
I can do that, Chairman.
oh, thank you, Chairman Levy. Appreciate you.
No worries. I would like to make a motion to adopt the insurance renewals for the medical plans offered by St. Louis Public Schools that the public school retirement of City of St. Louis members are eligible for, subject to approval by the St. Louis Public Schools Board of Education.
Richardson, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Do we do a roll? We do a roll call, Sue?
Yes, I would do a roll call
Yeah.
if there's no additional discussion.
Okay, all right. Is there any additional discussion? Any additional discussion? I'll say it one more time. Any additional discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call.
Angela Banks,
Yes.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Louis Cross,
Yes.
Sheila Goodwin, Sheila was here.
On mute.
I'm sorry,
Did
Sheila.
she say yes? I can't hear anything.
All right.
Doris, did you say you heard her say yes?
No,
I
I
just
didn't
heard
hear
her
her
say
say
that she said, I'm here. That's all I heard.
Okay.
Put your thumb up above your head.
Can you see her, Sue?
She just dropped off.
Yeah, she's gone.
I see her.
Okay.
There,
She did a
Sheila.
thumb up, thumbs
Yeah,
up.
we see the
Okay.
We see the top of her head.
Okay, I see she's doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
and I don't think Donna joined. Donna Jones, okay. Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Justin Stein,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
so we have 9, so the motion carries. So then we
okay,
have another one. We have three more.
okay. All right, trustee Levy, you can read
Sure.
those for me, please. Thank you.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to retain United Healthcare as the provider for the gold, low, and high Medicare Advantage plans as presented by the insurance consultant.
Sanders,
Richardson,
second.
second.
Is there a second? Okay. Is there any further discussion on this matter? Is there any further discussion on this matter? Is there any other further discussion on the matter? Okay, then we'll take a roll call vote. Executive Director Susan Kane.
Angela Banks,
Yes.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Sheila Goodwin. Okay, saw that. Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Justin Stein,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so once again, we have 9. Motion carries.
Okay.
And the final motion, Chairman Cross, is a motion to offer prepaid legal plan coverage through MetLife to the public school retirement system of the city of St. Louis retired members on a voluntary basis with the premium paid for 100% by retirees electing the coverage as presented by the insurance consultant.
Okay, is there a motion to accept this proposal?
Sanders, second.
Is there a motion to accept it?
She just,
Yes.
Okay.
It was
You
moved,
seconded
it was moved and
That was the
seconded.
motion.
The second.
Yeah. Is there any further discussion? I'm sorry. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Angela Banks,
Yes.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Sheila Goodwin,
She got her hand up.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
yes.
Justin Stein,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so once again, we have 9, and there is actually
Okay.
one more motion.
Okay. All right.
This,
Trustee Levy.
oops,
Oh, 2 more. Oh.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Go back, go
Okay,
back.
that's all right.
sorry.
That's okay.
There it is.
Number 4, I would like to make a motion to offer identity theft protection coverage through Allstate to the public school retirement system of the city of St. Louis retired members on a voluntary basis with a premium paid for 100% by retirees electing the coverage as presented by the insurance consultant.
Richardson, second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we will take a roll call vote.
Angela Banks,
Yes.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Sheila Goodwin. Okay. Yvette Levy,
Yes, sorry about that.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Justin Stein,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
Okay, so once again, we have 9, so the motion carries. So I just wanted
Okay.
to say, as I wrap up my report, thank you to Mark for all his work and his team for helping us. and Dawn, of course, for everything she did. And I don't know, Dawn, if you had anything you wanted to add.
I just want to say thank you to the board members for your time and consideration on this. And just appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're both excited to offer some really good news to the retirees and a couple of new benefits as well. So we're excited to roll that out to folks during open enrollment.
And Dawn, I just want to further add that we continue to pray for you and your family and your husband, and we hope everything turns out well for you all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Also, report of the investment consultant. Is that next?
Yes, but there is no report.
No report. Okay, then report of the actuary. That would be Buck.
Yep, there is no report.
Okay, then we go to the reports of the committees. Tab 3, benefits would be Donna Jones and Bobby Richardson, which you all already made an excellent presentation. You all have a further report?
I would just like to say I enjoyed sitting in with Mark and Don going over all the information in more detail that they presented to you guys today. And I look forward to keep representing our retirees.
Okay. Any other comments from your committee, Bobby and Donna? Okay, we'll go to trustee business with Sheila Goodwin and Doris Walker. You have a report?
No, we have
Doris,
a
can you hear?
verbal report concerning the two conventions that we attended, one in Lake Geneva and one in Margaritaville. They were both outstanding conference. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the Sunshine Law and fraud. I learned a lot that the last presenter in Lake Geneva, he spoke about the COLAs and how we can address the legislator who wrote that bill, how we can change that bill. But I had a great time.
Okay, any further information or discussion from your committee?
I don't know if Sheila has.
Okay.
I don't think Sheila has any sound.
Yeah, I think she doesn't. I think there's something going on with iPads and stuff today. Okay, that being said, we'll move on. If Sheila doesn't have, if she raises her hand, let me know because I can't see. We'll go on with the investment committee, and that
Okay,
would
she's
be.
No. She said no. Stop.
Yeah, she's raising her hand.
Oh,
she's raising her hand.
She has. Okay.
She's
Okay.
sign language.
Okay, Sheila, we can't
Okay.
hear you.
You on mute. Mute.
Yeah, I don't know that she's on mute. We just can't hear her.
Okay. Sheila, we can't hear you, so I don't know if we can come back to you if you can get your sound, because I'm having difficulties as well. But we'll move on and come back to Sheila and see if she can get her sound. So we'll move on to investments with Christina Bennett, Martell Mann, who is excused absence today, and Dr. Albert Sanders.
I believe I do not have a report.
Okay.
But the minutes, the investment minutes are on tab 3, starting on page
Tab
70. And Doris, if
Okay.
you got the email from Sue, the insurance started on page 79.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Christina, you said you all do not have a report.
We do not have a report.
Okay. Well, just want to commend you all for your diligence and handling the investment portion. It's been fabulous the whole entire year, and we look forward to bigger and better things if that's possible. But you all have really hit the mark every single time. And thank you so much.
And there is a
next,
meeting on Thursday, investment committee meeting this Thursday.
yes, investment meeting Thursday. Right. Okay. Well, thanks for that, Sue, because I know we're looking forward to that one. Okay.
Okay,
Legislative.
Sheila, you have your sound back?
Did she get her sound back?
She's waving.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Sheila, you have some additional information on your committee?
Okay, she's dropped. Maybe when she comes back in, she'll have her sound.
Okay, well, we'll defer that and we'll move on to legislative rules and regulations because we have quite a bit of information to provide for presentation by Dr. Sanders and Justin. So I'll turn that over to you two.
It looks like on the order of business, we might discuss that under new business or no? Because I don't have any report myself. Albert?
Yeah, we do have the proposed changes under new business.
Yeah.
Yeah, the email that you received, Justin, those would be the changes that under you and under
Chairman
that.
Cross,
Go ahead.
Chairman Cross, it's under new business. So we're gonna.
Oh, it is?
It's under
Okay.
new business, yes.
All right, then we'll hold off on that. And personnel and professional contracts, Principal Levy and Angie Banks, you all have a report?
Just a quick RFP update. The audit services responses will be due on August 24th. And the property management services RFP will be posted on August 24th as well. And the insurance consultant RFP will be posted on September 1st. And that's the update.
Okay, any additional comments, Principal Levy?
Nope, that covers it. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, then we'll do the.
Chairman Cross,
Are we?
Sheila, have you got your sound back yet? Okay.
Does she have it back?
No.
I'd
Sorry,
have to turn the volume up.
yeah, I was gonna say, we kind of barely heard you.
Well, there she is.
She's okay.
Sheila,
can you
try to
get
talk.
sound?
Try to say something, Sheila.
Okay. Can you all hear her? I can't.
No.
Yeah, so Sheila, there is a link if you wanted to dial in. If you click the link in the meeting invite that I sent out, there's a link and you can pull up a phone number. And so you could dial in and get audio that way, if you want to try that.
Okay. Then we'll move on to new business and the legislative rules and regulations committee. Dr. Albert Sanders and Justin Stein. I think we have some rule changes, and I think you all are going to address that in at this particular time.
Yeah, and I think Matt's going to give us just kind of an overview of how we could go about doing that before we dive in.
Okay, now do we need to go in executive session, or are we still open?
I think it's open for now, just covering the changes. I think all I was going to say is, since there are a number of changes listed, I don't know if we necessarily need to mention every single change, because a lot of them are simple changes, like adding the word "the" here in section 2. But if Dr. Sanders wants, maybe we can point out some of the maybe more substantive changes that are there. And obviously, as we talked about in the June meeting, this would then need to be deferred usually to the legislative rules and for actual further discussion and debate. So at this time, it's just sort of identifying the proposed rule changes, and then any further discussion or debate regarding the rule changes would occur at a subsequent meeting, such as a committee meeting.
Okay, Matt, that being said, you're saying that we don't need to address the ones where there's a "the" or "and," and we just do the other ones, or how you plan on proceeding?
Yeah, I think
Well,
fine. I think they're all identified for the
Hold on, Al.
trustees.
yes, we'll go ahead. We're gonna do the first reading of our proposed rules changes. And like Attorney Attorney Matt said, like dates and stuff, we'll probably skip over, but everybody has this in their packet. It's outlined in blue or something is scratched out. So we're gonna go over the main portions and we'll just get started. In section 2, if you can pull it up, if you don't have it up, we're adding the meetings can be held via video conferencing in compliance with applicable law. Because I don't think that was in there, but we can have it in applicable law. I mean, in video conferencing.
Okay.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, I'm trying to get clarification from on this. So how are we proceeding, Sue and Al and Matt and Justin? Are we reading them and then letting them know what the changes are, or exactly how are we proceeding? Because we are live.
I don't want to speak for Dr. Sanders, but I believe he's just reading through and highlighting the blue changes, at least the more substantive changes that are set forth in the packet.
Yes, and if somebody would like me to read the entire change, please let me know. But yeah, right now I'm just going through and reading just the blue changes, the substance, like Attorney Matt said, the significant changes.
Well, hold on. What I want to see, because we're live and our members are listening, is what it was and then what the change is, so that they can be clear about what we're doing.
Yes, Chairman. The first one, there was no the section 2, rule 1, section 2 about trustees. Only thing we were adding is that meetings may be held in person or by video conference in compliance with applicable law. This is just the addition. There's no changes. The change is the addition.
Okay. Now, does the board vote on this?
No, this is the first reading. This is our first reading of the rules. Then we'll take it back to our committee, Justin, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, Matt, are we all good on that?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Al.
All right, now we're gonna go down to rule. We're gonna go down to rule 6 about committees, and I'll read the whole one because I think it's something that so all of our members can know what's going on. I'll just read over it and then I'll mention the changes. It says no later than February regular board meetings of each year, the chairperson of the board of trustees shall establish such committees to serve for the current year for such purposes as the chairperson deems appropriate. And the chairperson may dissolve any committee so appointed with the approval of the board of trustees. Each such committee shall be charged with the duty to meet and recommend action to the board of trustees on matters within the scope of the committee's purpose, but shall have no authority to take action on behalf of the board of trustees. If the February regular board meeting deadline is not adhered to by the chairperson of the board, then the vice chairperson shall establish such committees to allow the continuance of business. And this is the addition that we're adding. However, if because of unforeseen circumstances, a committee needs to be established after the February regular board meeting deadline, the chairperson of the board of trustees may later establish such a committee with the approval of the board of trustees. All right, in that same section, rule 4 under committee section 4, the chairperson and or co-chairperson of each committee may establish rules and procedures for the conduct of meetings at such committee, provided that such rules and procedures are not inconsistent with any other provision of these rules and regulations. And we are adding any dispute between a chairperson and any co-chairpersons as the rules and procedures for the conduct of meetings of such committee shall be resolved by the majority vote of such committee. In section 7, it's about the medical board. It just takes, only thing that changes is the chairperson is not designating, it says one of, the medical boards should consist of 3 physicians, one of whom shall be designated as chairperson. We just took that part out.
Hey, Albert, what page are you on?
I am on page, it's 98 of the PDF. On mine is 90, that was 97 with the medical board.
Okay, hold on. I've been on here a long time and I don't think I've ever known a medical board.
Was there any clarification that you needed on what that was before and what it is now, Trustee Bennett?
No, I was just looking to make sure, trying to zoom in here with this.
And I'll read that whole subsection to you, Trustee Bennett. It says medical board. Let's see. The Board of Trustees shall designate a medical board in accordance with subsection 13 of section 169.40 of Missouri Revised Standards 1978 as amended. And such medical board consists of 3 physicians, one of whom should be designated as chairperson, and the medical board shall serve at the pleasure of the Board of Trustees.
We have a medical board?
Yeah, that was last meeting. We had discussion about, we actually selected a new, we didn't call it a medical board, but they are reviewing our disability retirement. That's one and the same. That's what this medical board does.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's mainly for anybody who files claims for disability, Sue?
That's right,
And
disability
Matt?
retirement. Yeah, so we selected
Okay.
AMR at the last meeting because we had worked with Barnes Care,
Right.
and now we have AMR.
Oh,
Right. Is that Chair, Trustee Bennett, do you kind of remember now since we
I do, but
kind of
it
clarified?
says that the medical board shall consist of 3 physicians, but we're looking at outsourcing it to an entity, right?
Right. We changed it to that company. Is that right, Sue?
That's correct.
So doesn't it have to
Okay,
say
so
that shall consist of 3 physicians and or a third party medical blah, blah, blah as designated, as.
We can
Okay,
talk about that in closed
Sue and-
session.
Yeah, Matt.
There is a legal reason for that. I can
Okay,
answer
Matt.
that question in closed session.
Oh.
All right. Do you
got
want to do it
Okay.
now?
No, well, we can proceed. I was just being
Okay.
anal and trying to.
Oh, no, you're
read
fine.
the
You're fine.
position.
I had the same question, but
And
Excellent question.
Justin, can you take notes on Trustee Bennett's concern?
okay. Yeah, we'll try to come up with the names of 3 people.
No, don't do that.
I'll talk about that.
No.
Physicians.
No, we're not going to do that.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going with a company now, Justin.
Oh, a company.
That's okay, I guess now.
Well,
We
we'll
got a
just-
company doing that now.
Either 3 names or a company. I got it.
So Matt, you want to clarify that for him, and Al and Matt and Al and Sue?
Yes, all right. And the next, I'm sorry, let me go. Most of the next changes are, it's like instead of mail, we're gonna distribute, which could be mail or electronically.
Okay.
Great.
And this is the role of the under the role of the executive director. Instead of attend all conventions and conferences on the National Council of Teacher Retirement, instead of said all, it says as needed. And it says the executive, section 5 says executive director may recruit applicants for open staff positions in the retirement system office. Is just a change from advertise to recruit.
right.
Okay.
And we're on the rules of order, Rule 9, Section 1. At the end of Section 1, I'll read the whole item. Regarding item 10 above, and item 10 is long, but if you take a look at it, but regarding item 10 of a report of the investment consultant, the investment consultant will meet with the Board of Trustees of the retirement system. So we took out full Board of Trustees, whether a committee meeting or regular meeting on at least a quarterly basis to give a report that is the basic to the health of the portfolio. The investment consultant will meet in person by means of video or telephone communications. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that sentence wrong. I'm sorry. I said that didn't sound right. The investment consultant will meet in person or by means of video or telephone communications. And the chairperson, with the approval of the Board of Trustees, may permit a report to be presented out of order at any meeting. And we took the part off to just for accommodation for us. Any questions or concerns? Under the open meetings and records, we, instead of tape, because we're not young anymore, we put recording, because I guess people don't tape anything. I think the upgrade, the meeting, the recordings have to be held for three months, but at which time it may be erased instead of saying and then erased. So not necessarily erased after the 3 months, but it could be erased.
So Sue, are we keeping our Zoom meetings? Well, if they're Zoom, are you erasing those as well, or are we keeping them temporarily at the moment?
Yeah, we have YouTube recordings.
Oh,
So, yeah, so those are housed on the website. We do have YouTube recordings as well.
thank you.
Under Rule 13, amendment of rules, I'm gonna read the entire section 2 because it's something that we're adding. Procedures for suggesting a rule change will require that a trustee submit the proposed change in writing to the executive director for inclusion with the agenda materials for the next meeting of the board. The proposed amendment, repeal, or suspension will not be discussed or submitted for a vote until the board meeting next following the board meeting at which the change was initially introduced. The foregoing does not apply to the adoption, and amendment, suspension, or repeal of any policy, which need only to be approved by a majority vote of the board at one regular board meeting. Moving on, any questions or concerns? Under the responsibility for the Board of Trustees, we added H under G. We had to add H, evaluated and appointed custodians for safekeeping of the system's assets. Upon consideration and advice of recommendations of retained professionals, the trustees' responsibilities include evaluating and appointing custodians for safekeeping of the system's assets. Then we'll move on to under permissible investments, under G, in fulfilling the investment objectives of the fund, the trustees may invest in the system's assets in the following types of investments. Under G, private capital market investments such as venture capital, leverage buyouts, mezzanine debt, bank loans, direct lending, asset lending, and other private debt strategies and infrastructure may be included in the system's investments, provided that the investments remain within the limits authorized by the trustees. And we added bank loans, direct lending, and asset-based lending and other private debt. And also at the end of that, G also, it says private market amounts that exceed the target allocation as a result of partial or full liquidation of positions or the receipt of income from investments may be reallocated to the system's under allocated asset class or used to meet cash flow needs. And then we're adding according to the approved investment policy, asset allocation targets and ranges. Under the future contracts, we added the word equity portfolios and took out international portfolio. We took out international and added equity portfolios. Common-led funds, on J, common-led funds, that sounds like I said common, and or institutional mutual funds may be used as investment vehicles. The trustee recognized they cannot give specific policy directives to such funds whose policies are already established in a separate prospectus or private offering memoranda. So we're adding in a separate prospectus and private offering memoranda. And on K, the system may establish a securities lending program subject to restrictions established by the trustees and consistent with legal structure. We're wanting to add the underlying collateral should conform with the quality standards as outlined in section 4D of this policy statement. Any questions, or we're moving on to the next section? And section 6, which is investment and operating guidelines. Managers on F, managers should make all portfolio transactions on a best execution basis. Arrangement to the direct shall only be implemented by specific written authorizations of the trustees and shall be in compliance with, this is what we're adding in, industry best practices. While the system is not subject to governance by the Department of Labor and ERISA, provisions of ERISA as described in the Department of Labor ERISA technical release number 86-1 and other applicable releases may be reviewed for guidance on best practices. Disbursements shall be made with a disbursement account, which in turn will be funded by the necessary transfer from the funding investment managers. We're adding such transfers, amount and timing should be determined by the executive director upon advice from the investment consultant and approved by the trustees. And on that, it's not every 6 months. It says we're taking it out every 6 months and adding as necessary to satisfy liquidity requirements and maintain compliance with the investment policy, asset allocation targets and ranges. And we took out, I mean, as you can read, we took out a section as well. Prohibited investments, I think that word direct securities is important in there. We added direct. Under principles, we just add to provide new participants in the system with a summary of plan terms that clearly and simply summarize the benefit provisions of the plan. Instead of saying we took out a summary plan description. Under payment of fractional benefits, which is, I'll read the whole thing because we added something at the end, but I'll read the entire section. When a retiree or designated beneficiary dies, leaving an unpaid portion of the retiree's accumulated contributions at retirement, such unpaid accumulated contributions shall be paid to the designated beneficiary if living, otherwise to the estate of the person last entitled to the benefits. If such accumulated contributions or any other benefits are left unclaimed, and if no estate can be found to have been open, then the accumulated contributions shall escheat to the state of Missouri in compliance with applicable law. Questions, concerns? No.
What does eschew mean?
So that means it's unclaimed property. So in the state of Missouri, if, let's say, for example, you attended jury duty and we mailed you a check and you did not cash your $12, I have to keep that check outstanding for 3 years. If you do not call to reissue it or cash it, then I have to send it to the state of Missouri as unclaimed property. And then so it comes off of our balance sheet as a liability and the money gets sent to the state. And that's when you can go in to the state of Missouri's unclaimed property website and see if you have any money there that you forgot, you never deposited, or somebody paid you and you never did any, or didn't even know that you had money that
Okay.
was sent on your behalf. So that's what achievement means, is that it removes it from, so if somebody said, hey, Sue, I never cashed my check from 2015, then Sue would say, I don't have it. You would have to check, it was sent to the state of Missouri in 2018, and you would have to, check with them.
Okay. Are we?
Now, I wanted to say, Sue, in this particular instance, on our funds, we have to hold them for 7 years before we turn them over to the state. Is that correct?
Yeah, generally it's 3 years, but those in a fiduciary standing, it's 7 years in the state of Missouri.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the
Are you
next
done, Al?
no, sir. The next, you only wish. The next section is about tax sheltered annuities. And I'm just gonna read the part that I'm gonna read the sentence before the changes we're making, what we're adding. We're not making it's changed, but we're adding. And I'll read the ad. In the event of a member's death prior to retirement, the member's additional accumulated contributions should be paid in a lump sum to the member's designated beneficiary, if living, otherwise to the member's estate. If such accumulated contributions are left unclaimed and no estate can be found to have been opened, then the accumulated contributions will escheat to the state of Missouri in compliance with law, with applicable law. I'm sorry. Calculation of compensation is our next section 1. We're adding the sentence, I'll read the whole thing. I'll read the whole thing just for, but the term compensation is defined in sections 169.410 to regular compensation, which a member has earned as an employee in any period, subject to certain limitations. Compensation should be regular if it is expected to continue until retirement. Extra compensation to department heads and compensation paid for extended school year service shall be regular compensation. Compensation also includes the employer paid costs of an active member's health and welfare benefits. That's what we're adding. And overtime pay, the lump sum payout of unused vacation or sick time, special compensation for compensatory time of accruals, special compensation for services in connection with extracurricular activities and summer school should not be considered regular compensation.
Is that what's added? What was added, Al?
What was added was compensation also includes the employer paid costs of an active member's health and welfare benefit.
I got you.
And it also added summer school to not, that it doesn't, extra compensation doesn't include summer school.
Okay.
Al, that compensation includes employer paid cost of active member health and welfare benefits. They have been paying on that, haven't they? I mean,
Yes, that's why it's added to the definition. Right.
Oh, because they do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right, our next one. I'll read the whole paragraph and I'll put what we're adding. I think it just takes care of the other stuff. And then what was taken out. The member may, this is under medical board, that amazing medical board we have. The member may submit or cause to be submitted to the medical board for its consideration any medical records or other evidence pertaining to the member's claim disabling physical or mental condition. No physical examination will be conducted if the medical board determines in its discretion that one is not needed. And we're taking out, if the medical board determines, we're taking out this part. Upon reviewing the member's medical records that the member is mentally or physically or totally incapacitated for the performance of duty, that such incapacity is likely to be permanent and that the member should be retired. The next is we're just taking out something. You want me to read that part? I'll take it.
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
We're taking out the medical board shall prepare a report on a form designated by the Board of Trustees. We're taking that part out.
Matt, you said you're going to clarify those things in during your report.
Correct.
And
Okay.
then what we're adding at the bottom, the medical board should submit the completed report. So we took the form out that we would give them. They're going to submit the report to the Board of Trustees. And in the event that the medical board recommends that a member should not be retired, the PSRSSTL shall mail a copy of the completed medical board report to the member. The member may request that the medical board reconsider its recommendation. Oh, I'm sorry, we're just adding, instead of the executive director sending the report or the copy of the medical board's report, the system will. And we're adding, instead of 30 days, the member has 60 days. We're adding 60 days to submit a request for refiling or recommendation, reconsideration.
Hey, Albert, I just want to say, you got B and you got D. That paragraph, you need to add C. In the event the medical board need to be, the C be there.
A, B, C.
You got B, then you got D. Where's C?
I think I can clarify. I believe what Dr. Sanders is reading from is a summary of the changes that Sue prepared. And so I see, actually, it does exist. It's just, I don't think it actually is a part of the changes. A full copy of all the rules showing the changes or not changes are in the packet under tab 4.
Okay, thank you.
And I thought I was looking at the packet because I went back in, but if not, we'll make sure that, because I thought I was looking at the packet through the packet on tab 4. But we'll just make sure. But
actually, I think the numbering got messed up there. But,
yeah, just because there's no changes in that one, that's why C isn't on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Now where am I at? The reports.
Number D.
E, right? If the person, we're taking out, if the member does not reside within 100 miles of the office of the public school retirement system of City of St. Louis, we're taking it out and just adding that. I mean, it'll read regular. The medical board may authorize the member's regular physician to prepare and submit a medical report on the member to the medical board. And then our next section, the governance of employees of the retirement system. We're going to talk about section 2, talking about holidays. We turned Washington's birthday into President's Day, and we added Juneteenth. The next is the employees of the, talking about the employees of the system. All the vacations got to be approved by the executive director instead of, she's not going to tell you when you can take it. She's just going to approve if you ask. Another thing is, another significant This is talking about, I'll read it, and then it basically went from $75 to $90. And subject to income tax regulations governing dollar limitations for non-taxable public transportation parking benefits, and provided employees submit receipts for such expenses, employees will be eligible for non-taxable reimbursement up to $90 per month instead of $75 for use of public transportation to and from work and work-related parking expenses.
Who's on your committee, Justin? Because you guys did some serious work.
I would love to take so much credit for this, but Matthew is amazing, and Susan.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Matthew and Susan and Chairman are they're amazing. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
You know I don't work that hard. No, just playing. I work very hard for our retirees.
I know you do.
If employee is terminated or employee with PRP with the retirement system, if you look at paragraph 3, the only thing is we say the chairperson of the board of trustees instead of the chair. So we just add a chairperson. And any employee or retiree of the St. Louis City School District or other person, this is under availability of minutes, may obtain at the office of the Public School Retirement System of City of St. Louis no sooner than 10 days following each regular meeting and special board meeting. It basically changed the cost from 15 cents to 10 cents to 10 cents to 15 cents to 10 cents, and per page shall be assessed and collected when minutes are delivered.
So Sue, do we make any opportunity for electronic? Or does our statute says we have to give it in paper?
We could do electronic.
Yeah, all of them are posted on our website presently. So that's actually part of the reason why we changed it from shall be assessed to may be assessed.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay.
No, you're fine.
I have a question. Would there be a charge, the same charge for the sheets if it's sent electronically per page? Or is there no charge because it's being sent through an email or something?
We probably going to discuss that in our next meeting, since we're just reading, but I'm sure it's just the email. And if they're available online, that's a free of charge, to everybody. So it doesn't.
Okay.
But I'll read what the statute says is it may be assessed. So I guess you always keep that maybe, but that's a big maybe. Now we're gonna go down, and we're almost finished, Chairman. I promise. We're gonna go down to the education policy, and we added a lot, as you can see on the thing. We added a lot, and I think it's very important. So, as fiduciaries of PSR SSTL, trustees are expected to be capable of performing their duties and responsibilities. To that end, each trustee should be educated sufficiently to discharge the obligations of the position. Pursuant to sections 105-666 revised statute of Missouri, the board should establish this board education policy applicable to all trustees. New trustee orientation program. So within 90 days of assuming the position of trustee, new trustee shall complete 6 hours of education in a new trustee education program. The curriculum of the new trustee education program should include, at the minimum, the following. And then it goes through the 9 different things. You want me to read them, or can I skip that?
I think because we're live, Al, it'd be good just to read them.
Duties
Because
and
we have had a lot of issues with that.
okay, it should include minimum the following: duties and responsibilities of trustees, ethics, governance process and procedures, pension plan and administration of benefits, investments, including but not limited to the fiduciary duties of the defined under section 105-688 revised Missouri statute, legal liability and risks associated with the administration of the plan, sunshine law requirements under chapter 610, actuarial principles and methods related to plan administration, and the role of staff and consultants in plan administration. Trustee education policy. Each trustee is responsible for the evaluation of trustees' educational needs and obtaining knowledge of specific subject matter. Trustees who have served 1 or more years shall attend at least a total of 2 hours of continuing education programs each year in the curriculum areas described above. Trustees shall routinely inform the executive director of their attendance in any continuing education program, and which shall be but not limited to date, time, length, location, education material, and any facilitator utilized. The trustees designate the executive director to maintain a record of such information, and executive director shall complete a certification that the trustees' annual continuing education requirements are satisfied. Publications, subscriptions, membership dues. The system will pay for an annual subscription to, before we do that, in that section, will we add, and I don't know if we're supposed to discuss, but are we gonna add like the section number and everything on there?
I think because this is a policy that's added on at the back, I tried to model it off of the current education policy, which is formatted in a similar way, but certainly we can reformat it into a number type system if the trustees want. That's no problem.
And I think as I was reading, I noticed it says as the curriculum area is described above, like just saying the curriculum area is described in.
Right. Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing. We can change that.
All right, and thank you, sir. Publication subscriptions and membership dues. The system will pay for an annual subscription to pension and investments on behalf of each trustee. The system will pay membership dues for the NCTR, the NASP, and the Missouri Association of Public Employee Retirement System, MAPERS, conferences and workshops. The board has authorized trustees and executive director to attend conferences sponsored by NCTR, MPPEA, NASP at the national level, and MAPERS. Attendance at other educational conferences will be authorized by specific board approval on a case-by-case basis. Within 60 days of attending such a conference, the trustee will provide a short written report to the executive director regarding the educational seminar he or she attended at such a conference. From time to time, the board will invite its professional staff and its investment managers to conduct workshops on specific issues related to the pension management. On an annual basis, at least 2 education and training workshops are to be provided to the investment consultant, investment managers, or professional or other professionals at a location in or around the St. Louis metropolitan area as approved by the Board of Trustees. And like Matt was saying, that section just replaces the next section. So we got rid of the previous educational policy, just kind of changed it. And I think that's it.
Yeah, there is a, you don't need to read through all this. This is multiple pages, but there is a policy that we've drafted that we can discuss and talk about as a part of this whole process for locating missing member data and missing members and beneficiaries and things like that. So that is attached as well.
Oh,
that we will
okay, yes.
discuss- That we will discuss at future meetings.
And I think we're
Okay,
just, go ahead.
are we done now?
Yes, the last document, Matthew was talking about that's added at the same time and is about missing member data and the policy and how we're gonna go about collecting that data. And we will discuss it further, but that's also an add to the, that's also an addition.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, so that, go ahead. Matt.
Right. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that concludes your report, Al and Justin.
Yeah, that concludes the new business with the possible changes to our policy.
Thanks, Al.
Okay. Thank you all, Al and Justin, so much for presenting that information to us, and Matt and Susan. Okay, we'll move on to a report of the attorney. Matt?
Oh, Matt, you're on mute.
Is he still on mute, Sue?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah. He's still on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I actually have a couple items tonight, so if we could move into closed session, that'd be appreciated.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Principal Levy to read the segment on going into the closed session. He's still available.
I make a motion to close the meeting and that all records and votes to the extent permitted by law pertaining to and or resulting from this closed meeting be closed under Missouri Revised Statute 610-021 for the purpose of having confidential or privileged communication with the legal counsel for PSRS-STL on legal matters.
Richardson, second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Angela Banks,
Yes.
Christina Bennett,
Yes.
Lewis Cross,
Yes.
Sheila Goodwin, Yvette Levy,
Yes.
Bobby Richardson,
Yes.
Albert Sanders,
Yes.
Justin Stein,
Yes.
Doris Walker.
Yes.
All right, so we have 8, the motion carries. We do a few things here.
He's
I didn't say
cooking.
anything. That was Justin.
Yeah,
Oh, that was Justin, I'm sorry.
You tell me I sound
Okay.
like Justin? My goodness.
Yeah, you all of a sudden sounded like.
All right.
all right, let me just verify we're back live.
Okay, is,
Okay. we
all right,
are-
can I have a motion? I'm sorry, Sue, go ahead.
I'm just saying we're back live.
Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, good night, everybody, and thank you all
All right.
so much.
Thank you all.
Al,
Good night.
and
Happy
Sue,
New
and
Year.
Matt, everybody.
Happy New Year,
All right.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Are you silly?
All right, bye now. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Al. You did an excellent job,
Bye.
and Justin and Matt
You're welcome.
and everybody. Thank you all so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Sheila. We'll figure out your computer next time. Figure out what's going on. Okay, take care.